Hey everyone, welcome back to Chozo Archives. My name is Ethan, and this is my channel where we discuss all things Metroid related. Today, we are talking about the newest Metroid news and information. This will be my last video before the release of Prime 4 this Thursday, and I gotta say that I am so excited. I have been waiting for this game for most of my conscious existence, and it feels surreal that the time has finally come. Anyways, let's get started. So let's start with the biggest and loudest Metroid news item of the week. Metroid Prime 4 is officially in the wild. Yep, physical copies of the game have leaked ahead of launch. The story broke after multiple players online started posting pictures, short clips, and of course, spoiler bait titles like, "You won't believe who shows up in Metroid Prime 4." And no, I didn't click them. I have no idea what spoilers have been posted online, and I don't want to know. The bigger implication is that Nintendo is probably sweating right now. Retro Studios spent 7 years resurrecting this game, only for some guy to show up and beat the final boss before the game even released. But honestly, there's something kind of comforting about the chaos. After years of silence, restarts, and rumors, Prime 4 is officially tangible. People are playing it. I'm a little salty that I'm not one of them, but what can you do? And even though that comes with the risk of the entire story being posted the moment you blink, it also means this massively anticipated game is finally crawling out of the void and into reality. Let's move into something a little more soothing. Earlier impressions made it seem like Prime 4 might have a problem with overly chatty NPCs. Cough cough Miles McKenzie. I made a video about this, and some people really didn't like my optimistic take, but they should like this news. And as someone who loves the Prime series specifically because it lets me wander alien architecture alone, I had some worries as well. But new leak-based impressions are suggesting something helpful. The NPC issue might have been exaggerated. Apparently, the characters that do appear are minimal, unobtrusive, and integrated in a way that feels natural rather than intrusive. One leaker even said that they only pop up when the story genuinely needs context, and then they disappear like responsible people who know Samus has better things to do than small talk. If that turns out to be true, it's actually really encouraging. Retro seems to be threading the needle between Prime-style isolation and the more narrative-driven approach modern games lean toward. Minimal NPC involvement also keeps the atmosphere intact because, let's be honest, part of Prime's magic is the quiet, the scanning, the environmental storytelling, the feeling that everything you learn is something you uncovered, not something someone yelled in your ear. This gives me hope that Prime 4 is going to maintain that signature Metroid tone without feeling archaic. A little modernization is fine, just not enough that Samus suddenly needs a dialogue wheel and 3 romance options. Next, let's talk about retail chaos. Apparently some stores have been selling Prime 4 early, as I mentioned before. This has happened with Nintendo titles before, but this one feels particularly wild because of how long the game has been anticipated. After waiting 7 years, seeing random players on Reddit posting pictures of the receipt from some mom and pop shop is honestly kind of hilarious. The downside, of course, is that the early retail copies are feeding the spoiler fire. Again, I'm avoiding it as much as I can, but it supposedly is out there. But an important thing that I took from this is, what do these players think? Without spoiling anything. Let's be honest, when leaks hit this hard, someone always tries to stir up negativity, and Prime 4 has already had its fair share of early concern, from gameplay tweaks to enemy design to pacing to the NPCs. But in the last week, something great has happened. Most impressions are positive. Players with early copies are describing the game as polished, atmospheric, visually insane, and surprisingly faithful to what made the original Prime trilogy iconic. One impression even called it the most refined Metroid Prime has ever felt, which is a big claim, but also exactly what you want to hear after a development cycle so insanely long. The general vibe is that Retro didn't just aim for another Prime, they aimed for a Prime but modern. Movement feels smoother, environments feel richer, combat feels snappier, even the Morph Ball, which is a sacred mechanic at this point, reportedly feels better than ever. I had the opportunity to play the Prime 4 demo and Target the other day just because I really wanted to, and I even noticed that everything did feel smoother, so I'm super excited to get my hands on the full game. The positivity wave is honestly refreshing. After so many years of silence and speculation, there's something satisfying about hearing that the game actually delivers. It's like Retro quietly sat in a bunker for 7 years and emerged holding the perfect fusion of nostalgia and innovation. If these impressions continue into release week, we might honestly be looking at the biggest Metroid launch of all time. But finally, let's talk about the energy surrounding Prime 4's launch, because it feels different, not just big but historic. The combination of official news, demo impressions, leaks, retail slip-ups, and positive early feedback has created the most intense hype cycle I think Metroid has ever had. Even people who barely knew Metroid existed are suddenly talking about it, and that's not normal. And the best part is, the hype doesn't feel forced, it feels earned. Prime 4 somehow looks like exactly the kind of sequel fans hoped it would be. This upcoming release week is going to be wild. The excitement isn't just a new Metroid is coming out, it's possibly the biggest Metroid game of all time is about to land, and it might actually live up to the wait. For the first time in more than a decade, the entire gaming world is watching Metroid again, and honestly, it's about time. I can't wait to play this game and give it a truly honest review and let you guys know what I think. One last thing, I think I'm going to stream my playthrough of Prime 4 this weekend, so if I do end up doing that, stay tuned. I'll post an announcement on this channel. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, please leave a like, subscribe, and as always, have an amazing rest of your day.